Rasha Charles, pictured, died in July after being arrested, and a coroner may give anonymity to the two officers involved to protect them from a Joe Cox-style attack. The police officers who arrested Rasha Charles could remain anonymous over fears a string of death threats online could lead to a Joe Cox-style murder. The first officer to restrain Rasha said he was constantly on edge after threatening posts were made on social media about him following the 20-year-old's death. Rasha died in the early hours of July the 22nd after a police chase in Dorlstow, East London, where a plastic package containing caffeine and paracetamol was pulled from his throat. His death sparked a mini riot in East London with mounted officers and police with shields pelted with missiles. It also sparked civil unrest with anti-police activists campaigning with protesters at a vigil for Mr. Charles. Coroner Mary Hassell said she may ban the naming of the two cops who arrested him after a pre-inquest review heard about the online threats. The officers referred to as BX47 and BX48 cannot be named currently under an interim order. Barrister John Beggs, representing the Metropolitan Police at the pre-inquest review hearing, said it was feared online posts could result in a Joe Cox-style attack if the officers are named. Mr. Beggs said, when Joe Cox was tragically murdered many years ago, many media outlets said that when people are putting toxic comments online, it can create an atmosphere where one or two loners can respond to that. Barrister Neil Saunders, representing the two officers, added, the concerns of these officers are well founded. Mr. Charles was tackled in a shop, pictured, and died at the scene, with a plastic package containing caffeine and paracetamol pulled from his throat. His death sparked a mini riot in East London with mounted police, pictured, called to restore order. A bin was set on fire during a night of unrest and police with riot shields were sent to the scene. He told the hearing. One online comment said, "This is nonsense in the USA, the UK. It won't stop, will it, until at least 10 of the policemen who have murdered a member of our community are found wounded outside their home with 2 bullet wounds in each knee. A sign we could have murdered but we're not as evil as you." The comment added, "Sadly there's no other way of getting them to stop." Other comments included an eye for an eye, kill back and shoot the police. Mr. Saunders said, "That's the material we have been able to identify in the month or so afterwards." He also told the hearing officer BX47, who was the first to restrain Rasha, said his family and neighbors fear a backlash if his identity was made known. His statement said, "We have warned them not to talk about the incident, even to their close friends, and if they are asked about it to deny my involvement." The officer also said he has been targeted by bloggers online who have accused him of wrongdoing. Demonstrations were also organized by family and friends to protest the death and the police's involvement. Shadow Home Secretary Diane Abbott, left, spoke at a vigil in Dorlstow with Mr. Charles' father ESA, right, and called for peaceful protests.